Happy New Year, and welcome to the Rousseau Report. Today we're going to provide a 2025 market recap. Did pre-owned sales increase year over year? Were selling prices up or down? Were new aircraft deliveries on par with prior years? Stay tuned, but first a couple of milestones. The Global 8000 received FAA type certification on December 19th and delivered the first customer aircraft, serial number 240, to a Canadian buyer on December 8th. Congratulations to Bombardier. As previously mentioned, all 235 Global 7500s can be upgraded to 8000 status via service bulletin for $3 million. The benefits are increased speed and range, lower cabin altitude, and an engine software change that enables increased thrust and better fuel efficiency. Other than that, why would a 7500 owner spend an additional $3 million? Consider this. The aircraft is entering its 8th year of production and is showing an excellent residual value as shown here using a 2018 year model. It's losing only 3% per year. Will any of the $3 million expenditure be returned on resale? Time will tell. However, with the performance and technologies that are built into aircraft today, I would want to stay as up to date as possible and current. Another milestone, the Citation 560XL series entered service in 1998. And over the ensuing 27 years, Cessna delivered 1,070 aircraft at a price point from $6.8 to $16 million. And other than avionics and engine upgrades, the XL, XLS, and XLS Plus maintained its interior and exterior configuration. And please note the number of panels on the windshield. On November 5th, Cessna was awarded FAA type certification for the new Citation Ascend. They delivered their first aircraft on December 30th. It features the Garmin 5000 cockpit with auto throttles and synthetic vision, Pratt & Whitney 540 Delta FADEC engines, winglets, a flat loading floor from the lab to the cockpit, 15% larger cabin windows, and a new 4-panel windshield that strongly resembles that of the Latitude. Price point around $16 million. Congratulations, Cessna. Let's now move on to the year in review. From an economic standpoint, things are pretty much on keel where we left off last year with our Q3 market update. Corporate and personal bankruptcies are on the rise. Global layoffs and unemployment are increasing. And the slight growth we experienced last year may have continued in Q4, but the government shutdown reduced any growth we had. CRE and home sales continue in a slump. The former's value is getting crushed every day. Properties are selling for pennies on the dollar. Home sales are stuck at a 30-year low with 365,000 foreclosure filings in 2025. As we move into this year, I believe with AI dominating the landscape, we're going to see less need for employees, with latest projections indicating 50% of white-collar jobs could be eliminated. However, that could mean greater profits, which could certainly serve as an impetus for our industry, increasing both new and pre-owned sales. So stand by and we'll keep you posted. Turning now to new business jet sales. First off, as most of you are aware, we don't report book-to-bill ratios. Our focus is on new aircraft deliveries. So barring a couple of deliveries that may have slipped through the cracks, for all of 2025, we've tallied 621 new business jets delivered into service. This compares to a total of 675 in 2024. And I believe that's about what our industry can currently accommodate based on parts availability, manufacturing facilities, as well as manpower. Also, let's consider the number of buyers that have the financial wherewithal to spend $15 to $80 million for a new aircraft. However, this can certainly parlay into pre-owned markets, which I'm going to show you in a second. Now, did some models fare better than others? Absolutely. Let's start in the small jet category, depicted in blue. The CJ3 Plus and CJ4 continue with an average of 30 aircraft per year, whereas the PC-24 and Phenom 300 deliver 50 to 60 aircraft year over year. The super midsize category, depicted in green, show Gulfstream's G280 has been consistently delivering an average 24 aircraft per year for the past 10 years. Yet the Praetor 600, Longitude, and Challenger 3500 are down year over year. The Challenger 650 and Falcon 2000 LX delivered 11 and 8 aircraft respectively. That could indicate time for replacement, or at the least, some modifications, as both models have been around for over 30 years, with only slight or minor change. Stepping up in category, Dassault delivered 15 6Xs compared to Bombardier's 7 Global 5500s, with Gulfstream leading in category delivering 22 G500s, bringing the fleet total to 170 aircraft. The Falcon 8X delivered 7 aircraft compared to its direct competitor, the Global 6500, with 15. Once again, Gulfstream leads in category with 28 G600 deliveries, which now show 187 aircraft in service. In the ultra-long-range category, Gulfstream delivered 46 G700s in 2025. That compares to the same 46 Global 7500s delivered in 2021. I would have never imagined that. Now think about that. With the two models combined, we have 308 aircraft in service with an average price point new of $78 million. That's $24 billion worth of ultra-long-range business jets. And that doesn't include the 12 G800s that were also delivered in 2025. As you may recall, we posed the question last year on whether these new aircraft models would have an impact on legacy aircraft such as the G550, G650 markets. The answer is yes, and I'm about to show you some pretty amazing numbers. We experienced a 16% year-over-year increase in total pre-owned transactions from 2024 to 2025. 1,243 aircraft, which just set the record. Let's break it down. The Citation M2 showed 57 aircraft trading hands ranging in price from $3 to $6.5 million. Now this aircraft is in the VLJ category and is typically flown by the owner as its certified single pilot. The Phenom 100, another VLJ, came in with 37 transactions for the year, and these prices range from $1.4 to $6.4 million. Question: why are we seeing such heightened activity in those markets? Another sales record was set in the light jet category with the CJ4 posting 50 transactions, and they're selling in the $6 to $12 million range. Its competitor, the Phenom 300, continues selling 40-plus aircraft, and for the 48 transactions recorded in 2025, prices range from $6 to $14.7 million. It's quite the delta. Let's now address pre-owned transactions for the G550 and 650, both of which set records for pre-owned sales. 65 G550s traded hands in 2025, with quite a delta in price. On the low end, we had $9.6 million, and for the newer aircraft, $34 million. That was a 2020 year model that sold new for circa $52 million, and on the lower end, we had a former fractional aircraft with 15,000 hours. The other model that had a record number of transactions was a G650 that tallied, dig this, 44 aircraft transactions with selling prices ranging from $25.3 to $62 million. The latter price was for a 2023 year model with less than 1,000 hours, and the former was a 2014 year model with just under 5,000 total time. So now to circle back, did the G7-800 entry into service have an impact on select pre-owned transactions? Absolutely. Consider this. At an $80 million price point, you need some pretty deep pockets to keep both your G650 and your G800, not to mention a $5 to $10 million annual operating budget. So yes, the majority of 700-800 buyers put the replacement aircraft on the market. Another interesting data point is the fact that there were 24 G650s on the market in August, and by December there were 3. Unbelievable, and especially at those prices. I anticipate Gulfstream will deliver 45 aircraft each for the 700-800 in 2026, and Bombardier will perform equally as well with the Global 8000. I would further venture we'll see similar pre-owned numbers in the upcoming year, barring any unforeseen economic downturn. Now the big question: did the number of transactions affect pricing? In order to answer this, we need to track a particular year model over time. So we used a 2013 G650 and plotted year-over-year pre-owned prices. In this case, the average original cost due was $60.5 million, and generally, the first pre-owned transaction will bring a premium, as was the case with someone paying a $14 million premium over the cost new. And as I've said in the past, around the 10-year mark, the aircraft will generally depreciate to 50% of its original cost new, which is the case here. The price drop from 2024 to 2025 is really negligible, and if we apply this market depreciation out to the 20-year mark, which would be 2033, we would be plus or minus $28 million. To better illustrate, let's take a look at a couple other popular business jets and see if we can demonstrate a similar scenario for 2025 pricing. The Challenger 604 entered service in 1996 and ended in 2006. If we take a 25-year-old 2000-year model, that should provide enough data to support a statement. It sold new in 2000 for $20.5 million. Then we had the dot-com era, which drove prices to crazy levels, and buyers were paying more than the cost new, as happened in 2001 and 2008, only to return to a more realistic selling price in 2010. Over the next 10 years, the Challenger 604 followed normal depreciation, only to reach a value in the high $3 million range in that 2017-2018 era. Then we had the market uptick, causing prices to increase dramatically. In this case, 70%, which was on par with selling prices 10 years earlier. If buyers only had more intel, they probably would not have done this. But this rationale should go into every business jet purchase. At the end of the day, are 2025 prices indicating a return to normal market depreciation? If you compare year-over-year selling prices over the last 3 years, I would say yes. But that's one model. So let's consider another very popular aircraft and probably one of the best all-around performers, the G550. Using a 14-year-old aircraft, year-over-year depreciation follows a normal trajectory over its first 10 years in service. Once again, something stupid happened, and the pre-owned prices were run up 40%, only to drop 20% over the ensuing 3 years. Now, to be sure, we can apply this methodology to any model, and it's pretty much going to display similar results. As in most things in life, there will always be naysayers who dispute the facts. But at the end of the day, as more of these current generation aircraft enter service, I believe they will impact the selling prices of legacy models, and we will see a return to normalcy. So stand by, and I'll be sure to keep you posted. For the Rousseau Report, I'm Dennis Rousseau. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.